Da 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 da. Hey guys, what's up? This is Chef Geo, and this is Geo's Fantastical Living Room. Like my art, my kitty's over here. So, video day, I guess, and I figured no time like the present. You don't always feel like doing certain things, but it's right in your heart, and you're like, yeah, I mean, ultimately I want to do it. We often don't want to put in the work, but we want the end result, and that's not going to happen. So anyway, I pulled a topic or a suggestion or an idea, an activity out of the magic ice bucket, and it says that I should discuss how I stay positive and possibly list my favorite saints, because in some ways that goes hand in hand. So we're going to go over a few ways that I stay positive, or try to stay positive anyway. So another thing about being positive is, people, I have been accused of having it easy. I can't say I had an extremely rough life compared to other people, but I wouldn't say everything was handed to me either. Being born with spina bifida and living with spina bifida is it's its own challenge, and sometimes its own reward, because you learn a lot of things. You learn a lot of strength through that. So that not only gives me the need for positivity, it also taught me how to be positive, right? So number one, strength through adversity. I think it can make you, when you have these tough troubles, like a medical condition or chronic condition or a defect, not that I look flawed at all, but it can teach you patience. It can teach you perseverance. It teaches you a lot of things. So when you look at your past and realize, like, oh, well, I was in the hospital all this time, and before I had my surgery, I walked even, with more of a limp than I did before. You just think all those things of the past, and it just makes you ever grateful for the present. Especially knowing at any point I could get another pressure sore and which hopefully won't get infected again, but end up in the hospital for a few days at least. And so you just, really, that's it. Strength through adversity and being appreciative of the present. We take it so for granted. We take so many things for granted. Taking a breath, waking up in the morning, walking, being sore while walking. Oh, I'm so sore. Yeah, but you're walking. You're not in a wheelchair. Not that there's anything wrong with the wheelchair. It's all about that mindset and being positive. But for the things that you do have, every single person has struggles, and every single person has rough times. But we also have so many things that we take for granted. And there's that meme or that post that says, the guy is in a car and he's like, man, I wish I had that nice sports car next to me. And then the guy on the bike is like, man, I wish I had a car. And then the guy walking is like, man, I wish I had a bike. And then the guy in the wheelchair is like, man, I wish that, I could walk. Humbling, profound. And so it teaches you, is what I'm saying, to appreciate the present. And that's one way that I am positive. And again, we all have troubles and we all have rough times, but we can either sit down and give up, or we can persevere and say, you know what? I'm blessed. I got it made. I got a great family, got great friends. There's so many things that you can find in your life, even if it's different from someone else. Your journey is not going to be the same. Your rewards are not going to be the same. Your troubles, for the most part, are not going to be the same. But you have something to be grateful for. So we need to think about those things. And another thing that's helpful is to think of 5 things, even 3 things each morning that you're grateful for. It's going to change your day, man. I promise you that. So that is number 1, technically, strength through adversity. I'm not sure how many I'm going to do, so I'm just going to rattle off some things that make me feel good. I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na-na. 2, caffeine. Caffeine, if you have the right amount, if you drink too much, it can make you jittery. And again, everybody reacts to it in different ways. It can make you jittery, or if you don't have enough, then it's like, and then there's that decaf crap. But if I drink the right amount of caffeine, whether from coffee or something else, I feel like I can take on the entire world. I feel like I can move mountains with the right amount of faith, even just the tiniest amount of faith, you can. But I love everyone, and I generally love everyone anyway, and I want to do kind things for them all the time, just randomly, which is why there's often contests on the Facebook page and stuff like that. I like to help people when I can, and what God has blessed me with, I want to bless others with. Again, not that this is all about religion, but I'm just saying that's how I feel. So caffeine. Caffeine to me is one of those pick-me-ups, and we all have comfort foods or different things that pick us up or affect our bodies in different ways. To me, that has a positive effect. If I drink the right amount, man, I'll be flying high all day. I'll be loving life. Great way to ride that coffee high without actually getting high, or utilizing other vices. So speaking of vices, yes, I have many vices. We all do, and vices are, they can be quite destructive. I mean, I think everybody has one. They want to branch out, they want to let loose, they want to experiment, they want to try out life, but be responsible, be smart. Vices aren't good things. Virtues are great things, and people don't want them because they're not as attractive, and you got to work for them. And you know what? Nothing worth doing is ever easy. So if you want something, you always got to work for it. So work on virtues. So I do have many vices. Some of them are bad for your body. Pretty much all of them are bad for your soul. So I'm not suggesting that, but in fact, I would have to argue, you might say, well, whiskey makes you feel better. Maybe there's something about whiskey or alcohol in general that I like. I really, believe it or not, you see pretty much every time I record or on video or on social media me drinking a lot, but I don't drink as much. It's just because you're seeing all those videos. I do drink a lot, but I'm cutting back with it, and it's also not as much as you see. So I would say vices are not the way to go. Now, virtues we can talk about. And actually, I don't really want to talk about virtues per se. I'm no theologian, or whatever they're called. But the saints, my faith personally has been very helpful to me. All the research I've done on the saints, growing up hearing about the saints, and everything you hear about them and read about them, you realize a couple things. One, they were human, just like us. Two, they struggled just like us, and I still struggle. For me, faith isn't like, oh, my faith completely saved me. I feel like it's going to take me my entire life. I try to get a little better each day, and I hope I'm succeeding. But for me, faith is that thing that holds me all together so that I don't fall apart completely. It's, yes, I'm flawed. Yes, I make mistakes. Sometimes I make those mistakes over and over. Sometimes the same ones, sometimes different ones. Pretty much, look, we're human. Every day we're going to make at least one mistake, and probably many, many more. But for me, faith grounds me. Faith gives me something to believe in. We have to have something to believe in, I think. And I happen to believe in God, It's my Catholic upbringing, and I cling to that. And really, I find fulfillment, and I see people who don't have that belief. And if you don't have beliefs in something and you don't have passions, then you're just like, there's nothing to live for. You got to find what you are passionate about and work toward it. And then you'll earn your reward, but you got to always work on it. And that includes with faith. You got to work on your faith. You got to work on your passions. You got to work on everything. So even with faith, I'm a broken man. But sometimes I feel like I'm doing better than others. Sometimes I feel like I have more hope than others because of faith. And so for me, faith is very important. So that's one of the ways that I stay positive. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but the topic is how do you stay positive, and that's one way I do it, because I feel like I'm still broken, but if I didn't have faith, I would be completely broken. I would be completely lost, and that would not be a good thing. So, there are a lot of saints to look up to and research, and to pray to if you believe in that, which is great. I don't know that I want to go into any specifics, but saints and faith in general, and religion and all that stuff, and that has helped me be positive. Next point, I don't even remember what we're on, 4 or 5, because I just ramble as always. Hey, whatever. I'm real most of the time. Some of the stuff you see on Snapchat is fake, and let's face it, everybody is fake in some way on Instagram, and I try not to be, but you got the filters, and nobody's going to highlight, for the most part, the bad parts of their life. They're going to highlight the good parts, right? But everybody struggles. So you need to remember that. Being positive doesn't mean you don't have struggles, and that's what I wanted to talk about next. How do you stay positive? Well, I don't, really. I try to. A lot of the times when I'm being positive, it's for someone else's sake. A lot of times when I'm being positive, it's so that you don't feel down. You don't want to feel alone, because feeling alone is the worst, and trust me, that's happened. So I want you to know that we're in it together. And it's like, if I don't feel good today, I at least want other people to feel good. That's been a personal goal of mine. And helping other people, being kind, not for my sake, but for theirs, has been a great mood lifter. We shouldn't do it to be self-serving, but I genuinely like helping people. I want people to smile. I want people to be entertained. I want people to laugh. So how do I stay positive? Sometimes it is very genuine. Sometimes I'm just trying to keep it together. And so I'm just being positive for the sake of others. And I do feed off other people's energy, so that helps too, because it goes around. Kind of like that karma thing. I haven't really researched karma either, but I think it's sort of similar to that. You know, I help someone feel good, and then their positive energy comes back around to me and then cheers me up. So that is one way, you know. But you have to remember that it's not all rainbows and sunshine and butterflies and cheesecake and cheesecake. You have to remember that life is full of darkness and brokenness and problems. Saturday. You know, with this whole quarantine thing, I could go out. I could make some changes to my life. I could plan something so that I'm not bored. Saturday, I feel like I'm free of obligations, right? So I don't do anything, and I feel worse. Lately, I've been feeling better during the week just because my day job, gives me purpose. And it keeps me distracted and focused on good things and productive things. Saturday, let me tell you, I was in a dark place. Not in a self-harm kind of way, because I would never do that, again, because of faith. I wonder how many people have said that. So it's important to reach out, which I did, by the way. But I was just in a dark place. What I mean by that is that I just felt kind of worthless. And I know, trust me, it's one of those things where I know that I'm not worthless. I know that I can make a mark on the world. I know that I'm important. I know that I have people that love me. But at that moment, I was only focusing on the bad. Focusing on the people that done me wrong. Focusing on the fact that focusing on the fact that not everybody always has the time to hang out or wants to hang out or invites me places. And with quarantine, nobody's going places anyway. So I just felt like almost worthless. Like I'm just sitting here and I should be enjoying it and relaxing, but I just feel like, what's my purpose? And I think this, quite frankly, is it, or at least part of it. You know, the Chef Geo League it started out about me, and when I realized it wasn't about me at all, boy, my life changed. I want the Chef Geo League to be about what I always say, making the world a better and tastier and hopefully healthier place to live, but also other adjectives like funner. Is that a word? Drunker. No. But I do want to put a positive impact on the world because I'm in it, and because I'm going to leave something for the next generation, if there is one. You know what I mean? We have to live for every day. We can't think about blah, blah, blah. We don't even know when we're going to die. No, we don't. So that's why we have to act now to appreciate what we have and to make our mark on the world in a positive way. Because the world, it's not about ego. Once again, the world is in always in darkness. There's always bad things. There's always negativity, especially for people who are depressed or lonely, things like that. We have the opportunity to change that. And it really comes down to nothing but a choice. I have the opportunity to do X for Y. I have the opportunity to lend my brother some money to go buy lunch. I have the opportunity to pay it forward at a national coffee chain. I have the opportunity to message one of my best friends and say, hey, I love you. It's simpler than we make it. And so a couple things, just one, I get in that space too, irrational or not. I have my dark moments. I have my moments where I feel insecure, just bad days. And I don't know why. Another important thing about being healthy, living a healthy lifestyle, that you have to have a healthy mindset, and the physical, like diet and exercise and all that stuff, helps your healthy mind as well. We're going to have bad times. We're going to have bad moments. We are human. We have our flaws. We have our problems, whatever those problems are. But it's about focusing on the right people too. And that's the next thing I'm going to talk about is staying positive, surrounding yourself with positive people. It is important to have that energy. Now, not everyone is there at your beck and call at every moment of the day, which is why you're responsible for your own happiness and your own success ultimately. Ultimately. I'm not saying that's the final, I'm not saying it's black and white, but you do have to put in the work. So when I was feeling down, I messaged my best friends, I messaged my niece, and I just said, hey, again, I wasn't harming anyone, I wasn't going to harm anyone, including myself, no. But I was just feeling down, is what I'm saying, and inadequate, and lonely, and bored, which can be dangerous. There are so many things that I could have done to make myself not bored, and I did a couple things. It worked for a couple minutes until that task was over, like making a salsa, delicious peach lime salsa. And then I was back in the funk. And so it's important to surround yourself with positive energy. It's important to keep busy. It's important to remember you have to put in the work, that the world isn't butterflies and rainbows and sunshine all the time, except it is, which is confusing. It's important to remember that it's important to remember there's always going to be tough times. There's always going to be flaws. There's always going to be bad moments. But like I said previously at the beginning of the video, there's also always something to look forward to and be grateful for. And I was having trouble being grateful at that moment. Luckily, it didn't last all day. And the next day, spending time with family really helped, and I felt great. Now, I put myself out there being completely transparent and honest because I think it's important, and I think we need more of that. Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. What I'm talking about is real authenticity. And I feel it's important to be transparent. So, but be around important people, See, I just can't talk. I really got to write scripts and lay off the sauce. But I'm sober right now. Promise. But no, you got to surround yourself with positive energy. Family, friends, good thoughts. You got to keep yourself busy. You got to put in the work. You got to find those passions and you got to work on them. Don't just sit around like a rock, because the longer you sit around like a rock, taking naps, naps are awesome. But if you don't get up and move, if you don't work towards something, if you don't actively put your mind in the right place, it'll go downhill fast, man. You'll sit there, and the longer you sit there and watch the clock tick by without you doing anything, without you making your mark, without taking positive steps to be positive, you're going to feel worse. Now, I'm glad that I have my faith and I'm generally healthy and I would never do anything harmful. But I know that's not always the case. And I'm not saying that everything that I am saying and thinking and doing will have a positive impact on you or will work for you. What I'm saying is that, what do I do to stay positive? These are those things. And maybe all of them or some of them will work for you, but I really do think it's a combination effort. I don't think it's one particular thing I mentioned. I think it's all of these things combined that really keep me going. And I feel great now because life is beautiful. Life is worth living. I have my passions. And you know what happened? I made that salsa that day. I sold a couple jars the next day. and that felt great too. But you got to put in the work. And that work is hard, yeah, but work is productive, and you feel good when you do it. That's why another thing I'm doing is learning discipline, which is also helping with my positivity. It gives you a purpose. Because nothing's going to come at you easy. Yeah, I can pay someone to come clean my house, or I can just clean my house. And no, I don't like physical labor, but man, you get up and you clean this sink, and when it's done, you're like, that kept me focused, that kept me productive, and now it looks so good, and I feel so much better. And that's going to help too. So another way to stay positive, not that I practice this one very much, keeping a clean, neat environment for the most part. I mean, some people are like their stuff scattered around, artists and things like that, but there's a difference between scattered and unorganized and like dirty. So I'm not saying that I live in filth, but I'm saying that I just don't like manual labor, and the more I put something off, or the longer I put something off, the worse I feel. So that's another thing. So it really takes discipline, it takes faith, it takes love, loving yourself, loving others, and allowing yourself to be loved by others, and focusing on the good. And that's the hardest part, but the simplest and most straightforward part. It's not always easy to think positive, but we have to. It's important. And going along with faith, praying. Maybe you meditate, maybe you do yoga or something like that. I'm not here to tell you about your business, but for me, because of my faith, praying is part of that. And I haven't been doing it as much as I used to, and as much as I would like to, and as much as I should. And I think that helps me too. It gets me in a better head place. It just makes me feel better physically, spiritually, and mentally. And if I had prayed, instead of trying to rely on other people who weren't available or who weren't feeling good themselves to cheer me up, I could have turned to the one person that always helps me. He's always there for me. He always understands. I promise, I'm not trying to make this about religion, but I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about religion or faith either. But once again, you ask, what makes me positive? And it's those things. It's a combination. Faith, staying positive, living in the moment, staying positive to be positive. I know. Revolutionary concept, but I'm telling you, it's all about mindset. You got to actively work on it. Productivity, working hard, surrounding yourself around good people, things you enjoy, treating yourself. It's important to treat yourself. Self-care, man, I thought self-care was selfish, and sometimes it can be. But there are times when it's extremely important to do self-care. And that means a lot of things. That doesn't mean drinking or eating a big greasy burger. Sometimes a big greasy burger can't help. It's not going to help you in the long run. But self-care looks different to so many different people. And it also depends on your mood and what you're passionate about at the time. I'm passionate about certain books or certain fandoms at certain times. And those things make me happy. And guys, look, you're going to have rough times. You're going to have dark moments. You're going to have days where you feel worthless, or where someone else makes you feel worthless, or where you feel unappreciated. One thing I'm going to talk about is the devil. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm just saying, the devil's real, I believe. No matter what you think what you think he is, or who you think he is, or how he works, there's bad in the world. There's evil in the world. And that bad and negativity creeps sometimes into our area and tries to disturb our peace and our light. We can't let that happen. And we won't let that happen. Sometimes, a good portion of the time, I really am positive. And it's because, again, not to repeat myself, I don't want you to think that this is all a ruse, that it's all fake. Fake it till you make it. Sometimes you have to work harder for your positivity. And sometimes it comes naturally. Because you ultimately, in general, have been working on that. You put in the time, you put in the effort. You surrounded yourself with good people. You got rid of the people who didn't bring you joy. And again, I could go on and on about that, and I have in a previous video on Instagram. I don't think that you should willy-nilly remove people out of your life, especially family members, because you don't get to choose who they are. But you can choose what you put up with. And I don't mean be negative and yell at people and be like, how dare you? But I mean, you can choose to be around it or not. You can choose to participate in that negativity or not. Not only can you ignore the negativity, you can inject positivity and completely change it around, because we have to lead by example. And that's what I try to do. Man, you guys should not let me talk about deep philosophical stuff, because I could go on and on and on and just go in circles and repeat myself, and you guys will be like, what just happened? Hey, have you ever seen A Minute with Chef Gio on Instagram? Check it out, my story sometime. This is what it's like. It's just me rambling. But I do think, I'm a deep thinker a lot of times. In fact, I'd say I deep think all day, every day, but at least part of the day, every day. Depends on how much coffee I had, I think, and how much insight the Spirit gives. YouTube is going to block this, like, oh, he's too conservative. The point is about being conservative or religious. The point is to be you, to be authentic, to be positive. And again, I know how silly that sounds, but you do have to be positive to be positive. You get in return what you give. What you put into it is, what you put into life is what you're going to get out of life. No, not everything is perfect. But there are perfect and good things all around us. The beautiful sky, beautiful trees, the birds chirping, your cat, family members that you haven't seen in a while. A mother whose birthday just came up, and you can call her and say, happy birthday. I knew I was forgetting something. Happy birthday, Ma. So, why do I always mention my mother? That might be something we can explore down the road. You know what? But you know what? There's no shame in that either. There's no shame in loving your mother and talking about her. Shout out to the mother of Chef G, because I wouldn't be here without her. Again, more of that support group. She taught me faith. And again, I feel like faith really, every day, even if it doesn't make my life perfect, because no life is really perfect here on this earth, faith is a big thing that I find very important that holds me together. You got to have faith. You got to believe in something. And you got to have passions, and you got to follow those passions, and you got to work toward those passions. Another thing about being positive, and this is the last thing, that's what Mike Schmidt says. Love him. Faking it till you make it, there's something good about that, because if you do something you leave your comfort zone, or be what you want, even if you're not feeling. So in other words, I want to be happy, but I'm not feeling happy, so I smile. You're training yourself to feel better, believe it or not, and you're helping others to feel better. I made it, before this whole quarantine thing, I made it a personal duty of mine, no matter how I was feeling about the day, to just walk around the office building with a huge smile. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Oh, I'm great. I want to die inside. You know what I mean? We've had those moments too at work, huh? I'm sorry that this video isn't funny, but then again, I'm not funny, so, what did you expect? But I hope you learned something. I hope you got something out of it. How do you stay positive? What do you do? You can let me know at chefgeoleague@gmail.com. Any questions, feedback, suggestions, send it there. You can also follow me on Instagram, Superman's Boy, SupermanZBoy. You can follow the Chef Geo League on Facebook and put your feedback there. If I've helped you, let me know. If you like this video or any of my videos, like, share, ring the bell, subscribe, and tell your friends and family, please. Because I'm making this video, one, part of my discipline. I said I was going to make videos again regularly. Two, I want to inspire you guys. And three, the Magic Bucket told me to discuss this deep topic. And we could all use a little positivity. So I covered a few things, how it's not realistic to always be positive, how life isn't perfect, and what we can do to foster an environment of positivity and hold on to it, bring it into our lives, cling to it, and help us out. That way, in our darkest moments, we'll still see the light. And if we can't see the light, we can turn to those who shine that light brightly and sincerely upon you. Because another thing Father Mike Schmidt said, we were ultimately designed. Now, we can debate this all you want. But ultimately, we were designed and we were made to give love and receive love. So, if you're feeling like you're not receiving love, reach out to the people you love. And I promise you they'll make you feel better. You just got to remember to appreciate them. There's always someone who could use a little encouragement themselves. So a lot of times when you feel like you're not loved, give love. It'll come back to you. And if it doesn't, you'll feel better anyway, because you're a good person. If you want to discuss this any further, or you would like to maybe have like a video chat, we could do a video about this or any topic. I do still want to have like happy hour with Chef Gio, where someone could be a guest. We'll chat like digitally or in person, I don't care. And just have a cocktail or water, whatever you want to drink, and just discuss topics like these. So again, share your feedback at the Chef Gio League, chefgioleague@gmail.com email address, or on any of my social media. Follow me, tell your friends, and I thank you for your support. I love you so much. And guys, I really hope that this helped. And if you can help someone else, remember to do it, okay? Make the world a better place that I was talking about. Again, as always, I'm Chef Gio. Be kind to one another, and caveat or addition, whatever. Be kind to other people, to each other. Be kind to yourself, because you can't forget that part. Always be kind to yourself. And keep the faith. See ya.